Assalamu alaikum. Suleiman Rahim here. Today we're going to critique the China-America clash, the upcoming clash between China and America. It's imminent. We see it's getting more tense every day. Every meeting they have is more contentious. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to use the book of Daniel to outline it, to describe it, to critique it. So let's proceed. 1 second though. First, brothers and sisters, I want to explain something. The book of Daniel is the 13th chapter of the book of Revelation. They're connected. Both books are sealed. But the book of Daniel has 12 chapters. The book of Revelations, aka Injil, has 22. But the 13th chapter of the Injil has the main symbols that are described in Daniel. That's the only place they're there. You know, the bear, the leopard, so forth. So they're connected. I'm not going to all the ways they're connected. What's the purpose of it? I just want you to know they're connected. See? Because both are sealed. And both would not be unsealed until the end. And so we're going to talk about Daniel today because people are claiming to be the anointed, claiming to be the Son of Man, claiming to be the Lamb, claiming all these things, but they don't have the credentials. The credentials is the unsealing of this book. That's how you know the real deal, the real McCoy, so to speak. If they haven't broken the seals, they cannot present a sealed, unsealed book to you, then you need to flee from them because they're liars. They make it very clear. In an angel that says, no one in the heavens or the earth or under earth, but only the Lamb could break that. So that means you should not be deceived. You should not be confused. You should not be misled. Because ask them. All you got to do is ask them. Please come to your door. Show me the badge. Show me the badge. They can't show you the badge. Get the hell off my steps. That's what you should be doing. If they can't show you the unsealed book, either Daniel or angel called Revelations, you should tell them to get the hell out of your book. Get hell off your steps. Get hell out of your eyesight. See? That's what you be telling them, but mostly not. So it's on you, because that's what you're going to be asked in the judgment. Didn't we tell you what the credentials were? Yes. Did they present the credentials? No. Then why was you acknowledging them? That's where you're going to be saying, all the way into the flames. But you were told. Because see, this is a free gift. You paying these people. It said it would be a free gift. You already paid the price. You already paid the price. You paid 464 years of hell. You paid the price for the promised land. It's a free gift. You don't have to pay anything else. Say, well, Elijah said, because that was Elijah, you were still paying the price. The 40 years didn't come up to 2019, 1619 to 2019. So you're still paying the price. So you're paying Elijah. But once the 400 years were finished, you completed paying the price, because that was part of paying the price. Once you completed that, then you don't have to pay anything else. You paid everything. It's a free gift. And if anybody's going there and says, okay, I am bearing witness to everyone, they're hearing the words, the prophets, this little book, this, if ever anyone should oppose upon them, will oppose the God upon him, the place, and the having been written in a little book, this. If everyone should take off from the words of the little book of the prophets, this, will take off the God that parted him from the wood of life out of the sea of holy, having written in a little book this. Basically what it's telling you in plain English is, you mess around with this book, you're in trouble. You try to switch words, pretend you know what we're talking about, all that kind of stuff, you're in trouble. That's what imposed upon them. That's what we're going to talk about in a minute, Lion Ishmael. He's going to tell you what New Jerusalem is. He don't have no idea what it is. He shouldn't be talking. He shouldn't even be talking, angel. He shouldn't be talking it because he don't know what he's talking about. That's what I'm talking about, impose. See, because he imposed his interpretation on it. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So he's going to have his part in the fire. Because they haven't broken the seals. So they should be shutting up. But they're trying to convince you they know what they're talking about. That's why they impose their idea on this book. So you've been warned. It's right there. So you will receive that's why they walk around with masks. Why they walk around in masks? We shouldn't be walking around in masks because the plague is passing over us. That's what it says in Exodus. See? So they're liars. And they're going to get the flames because they impose their idea on this. They have no idea what to talk about because they have not broken the seals. If they've broken the seals, right, tell them present the badge, present the credentials. So you're not asking to present the credentials, so that means you are responsible for your own deception. See, because if you let the people the cops in the house, but they don't show a badge, then you're responsible for getting your ass kicked and whatever happens to you in there, because you should have asked what the badge was. That's why they give them the badge. So you can validate that they're who they say they are. But if you ignore the badge, they come in and rob you and beat you, that's on you. Because you didn't ask to see the badge. See? So if you're not asking, and you're not validating that they have broken these seals, and you still listen to these people, that's on you. And you'll pay the price. It tells you that right here. You better read it. See? Okay, let's move on. Now, you have flying Ishmael's son. He's going to try to tell you, right, what New Jerusalem is. That's the mother plane. It's bullshit. Had nothing to do with the mother plane. Oh, you used that word. Had nothing to do with the mother plane. I'm not going into details, but that's New Jerusalem. The new heavens and new earth. That's the New Jerusalem right there. The ark sitting on the waters. I'm not going into details. Those who are familiar with the engine know what I'm talking about. I'm not going into details about it, but that's the New Jerusalem. Jerusalem, the old Jerusalem, is the original nation here. Old Jerusalem is the original, part of it's here. It said to be split up into three parts. One part would go into captivity. We the part that went to captivity. See? The other two parts didn't go into captivity. What's the other two parts? See? When you understand the angel, that's the Shia, and that's the Muslims out of Africa. See? It was Jerusalem said it was split three parts, and one part went into captivity. We the part that went into captivity. This is the New Jerusalem now. See? And new heavens, that's the heavens up top here. Where you see the gates and jasper, that's the heavens. And the new earth right here, that's going to be the new earth, because all the rest is gone. All the rest is gone. See? And here's the Lamb. He's the light thereof. That's why I call him the Son. He's the one that broke the seals. He's the high priest. And there's the God. He's going to make all things new. That's matched by Muhammad. I'm not going to go any further with this. So we're going to move on, brothers and sisters. See, I told you what it means. He has no idea what the mother plane. I mean, there's no way, even if you don't even know the angels, you can take and fit this into that nonsense. The scripture's totally off base from anything that he's trying to convince you of. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's going to pay a price for it. See? So we're going to talk about Daniel. Like I said, Daniel is very, very, angel is complicated. Angel is very powerful. But Daniel is complicated in a different way. Angel is very structured. See? He's very structured. But Daniel is not like that. Daniel is very subtle. There's a lot of subtleties in the angel too. But Daniel is primarily related, in other words, both are structured, both are subtle, but Daniel is heavy on the subtle part, while the angel is heavy on the organization part. See, on the structure part. But both of them, right, are subtle. But Daniel, they take subtleties and heights it. that you wouldn't believe, right? So I don't talk Daniel very much because it's very difficult to get you to see Daniel because like I said, the structure and subtleties there. But we're gonna go through it. I've done this before, and I'm gonna do it again, right? So we're gonna see how it works out. Then here we got a bear, and we got a lion, we got an eagle here. See, so we're gonna try to explain what these things mean. Now, if you're gonna ask Mr. Farrakhan, he doesn't know what these things are. But he's the prophet. He's the one from God. He's the Lamb. He can't tell you what that bear is. He can't tell you what the lion is. He can't tell what the eagle is. He can't tell any of that is. Ask them. Neither is the Kasalas, nor Royal, any of these clowns. Always come out. They with Elijah Muhammad. Well, they got the okay, hold on here. Hold on, I forgot to take this out. I said, he doesn't know what any of this means. Okay, so I'm gonna let you hear this for a second. This is interesting, so I'm gonna let this play. Okay, wait, hold on a second. Pardon me.
Oh yeah, here's the video. This is the Russian choir in St. Petersburg.
See that, brothers and sisters? Sleep tired toys. Negroes sleep quietly. What is that about? Why are they talking about Negroes? The target is you, brothers and sisters. I'm talking about Italians, I'm talking about Chinese, I'm talking about Asians. They mention specifically Negroes in America. Wake up, brothers and sisters. Time to wake up. The target is you. The world's going to war. They're talking about war with America. Why war with America? And specifically mentioning you. There it is. See how they're saying America was discovered in vain 500 years ago when they brought you over here? Says not going to work. They're coming to get rid of all of it and wipe you out.
Brothers and sisters, give me 1 second here. Get my sound up. Okay, you heard that. You heard the remarks. Says while you sleep, while NFL, NBA, the world is watching. The world's watching you. And the world's about to go to war. Are you think Master's gonna protect you? Master's not gonna be able to protect itself. Let's move on. Okay, we're gonna start off with now, like the angel, they have certain keys. Daniel has many keys. One of the keys is a statue. It's one of the main keys. It's not the only one, it's one of the main ones. Right? So we're going to analyze, we're going to do a critique on this statue. Okay? See what it means. Like I said, it's very subtle, so you have to pay very close attention. Check something here real quick. Get a little bit of lighting here. Let's see, lighting is not so good. Okay, I guess it's there. Okay, we have to live with it. I'll live with it. Okay. So we're going to talk about this statue. Let's move on. Now this, okay, we're going to move on here. You can read this on your own, right? This is this in Daniel, tell you about the statue. You can read this on your own. I'm not going to go and read it, but you can read it on your own, right? But we're going to talk about it. See? Now it talks about this statue. It says, had a head of gold, right? Torso of silver, arms and torso of silver, and had hips of brass, right? Hips and thighs of brass, and it had legs of iron. And then it had toes, right? There was 10 of them, and they was made of clay and iron. Now I have a background here. I'm going to try to explain this. Now, if the first one describes as gold. Now, one of the things about this statue is anatomically correct, except for one thing. It doesn't have hands. So we saw Lion Ishmael trying to explain this the other day. Like I said, he's doomed because he has no idea what he's talking about. See? Because what he's doing, see, instead of listening to this, well, he does listen, but he goes back to what their interpretation is. And that's what he's doing. And then he's going back to his people, and he tell them that, oh, well, we don't listen to Master, but he's getting Master's interpretation. Because look at what Master's saying. Look what he says. He's saying what they're saying. Because they got it wrong. He said they wouldn't be able to figure it out. So he got it wrong. Because he's still listening to Master. Because Farrakhan don't know. So he think he's waxing great about, hey, man, you're going to read what they say, whatever. So gold, and then silver, then brass, then iron. Now look at that carefully. You notice how the brass resembles the gold? How the iron resembles the silver? Because you have a thing called silverware, but you know it's not silver, it's really iron, isn't it? See? Because you can polish up brass, and somebody might think it's gold, because you can fool somebody, they might think it's gold there. You catch them unawares, or you shine real good. Same thing with iron. You want to shine real good, you might fool somebody think it's silver. That's why they put that Because what you have here is you got the gold is the original, then the silver. That's Jabba Shabbat is the gold, the silver are the Levites. And then you had the brass, that's somebody pretending to be gold. That's false Israel. They pretend to be gold. They're false. Then you got the iron. They pretend to be the Levites. You say, well, that's Caucasians. What do they tend? They've been doing this for years. They've been saying that ancient Carthage, ancient Egypt, right? Those are Levites. Those are African countries. But they claim that's them. All the old movies and everything else show the Caucasians, right? They show the Caucasians, right, as being occupies those countries. They show Cleopatra, Hannibal, all those people Caucasian. They weren't Caucasian. So they try to say, oh, that because most people didn't even realize Egypt was in Africa. They try to tell you, well, Egypt, it's Caucasian. No, it wasn't. This study. So that's what he's talking about there. So therefore, you got two pretenders. And then, right, and they try to tell you what the Bible, all the prophets were Caucasian, right? Moses was Caucasian. They try to tell you all that stuff. It's not right. The angel tell you that's not right. See, I don't know of any Caucasian prophet, right? Okay, said Moses was half original, but he was original on his paternal side. Okay. Then you got the toes, was iron and clay. See, a lot of people think like you're putting the blenders mixed up. No. 8 of them are iron. 8 of them are clay, and 2 of them are iron. The 2 big toes are iron. See, they came out of the legs, which was the old Roman Empire that broke up into East and Western Europe, Russia and Germany and France, so to speak. That's what it's talking about there. So, because these elements are going to be taught later, so you have to know what they mean. And what are you talking about? So here we go. I give a little more description here, right? And when I'm talking about the toes, okay, first of all, I give a little information here, right? The original nation, I'm putting it as the sun, moon, star. Oh, let me say one thing before I forget. I gotta say this, because a couple of Sundays ago, they had Farrakhan said Elijah Muhammad told him he was a special star. He was that special star. So he had a flag all to himself because he was unique. He had a special star all to himself. So he raised a flag without the moon or anything, just a star by itself. He said Elijah Muhammad told him that he was a special star by itself. So he had a special flag. You know what that is? That's Lucifer, the morning star. Is he trying to tell you something? He's the one that's the one star. Even the Christians know that one. I had forgot about that. I heard somebody mention, oh wow, I forgot about that one. Because Lucifer is represented by just one star only. The morning star. So he telling on himself because he's a fool. But I want him, hey, don't bother him. I want him to hang on there because he's a lightning rod. He's attracting all the demons and vipers and serpents to himself. So here we go right here. So the two iron toes, right? That's American Britain. You see? Because they came out of Europe. See, Britain is not Europe. It's an island, but the occupants came out of Europe. And America came out of Britain. That's Adam and Eve's story. Not going to go into that here. So that's what that is. So then what's the other 8 toes? They call them the clay. Okay? Well, if you see here, right, you see a leopard, because we're going to talk about it later on, the leopard, and you see an eagle. The eagle represents America. Its 2 wings represents the two big toes. And the leopard had 4 wings and 4 heads. That represents the other 8 toes. You understand? So we're going to go into that. We're going to go into a little more detail. And it said, remember, that the bottom one, the toes, represents the last kingdom. That's how, see, this represents a timeline going from the original nation all the way down to the final situation, to when all, at the end time, right, the configuration will be like at the bottom. Because those are the nations that be running it. See? China, India, those be the world powers. America, Britain. See? Coming out of Europe. But anyway, it said the final and timeline at the end, this would be the primary nations that will be destroyed by a stone that came out of the mountain without hands. The mountain, remember I said very subtle? Okay, so they tell you, see, this is where they get in trouble because they take and change the scripture because it said, do not oppose, do not change one word, anything. So they go and say, without human hands, because they can't explain the stone without hands. So they say, without human hands, because supposed to be, without hands must be God. See, so they say, well, God don't have hands, so they add something with human hands. Without human hands. This implied as God's hands. No, it says without hands. Because it's talking about this statue. This statue is anatomically correct except for it has no hands. Read it. Has feet, legs, head, everything, arms, everything behind, but it doesn't have any hands. So that's where it says very subtle. It's coming out of this. And where it's coming from, it's coming from the gold because the original kingdom has been cut down. And then it said there's a segment that gold stone is coming out of there, right? And it's going to fall and break all these other kingdoms. See, anyway, he's going to mount a stone cloud, mount our hands, he's going to cover the. See, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But they say, well, that represents, well, they got that part right. See, but they think the mountain is something special because they can't connect with the statue because that's how stupid they are. They haven't broke the seals here. And they condemn themselves because they're imposing, remember that word, imposing their false interpretation on this? Because they have no idea what they're talking about. They should tell people, I don't know what this means. That's what I think it means. Then they'd be standing on more legitimate grounds, more firm grounds. Say, I don't know what this means. I have no idea what it means. But I think this is my idea. They tell you like they know. So it talks about these beasts coming out of the sea, right? So one was like a lion and one was like a leopard. See, okay, now think about this. Remember I said that 10 toes represents the leopard and the eagle. The eagle has 2 wings, the leopard has 4 wings and 4 heads. Now, the wings represent democracy. So America and Britain is democracy. But India is also democracy. Those are the 4 wings. Because remember, leopard is yellow with brown spots. It's yellow with brown spots. That's Asia and Orient. All the hints are there. See? But China is not a democracy. It's authoritarian. That's why it has 4 heads. And the reason why you got 4 wings, and because they're the greatest population, because they're the greatest they're the most populous countries on the planet right now, India and China. So that's why it's represented by 4 wings and 4 heads instead of 1 wing and 1 head or whatever. So the wings, America and Britain are democracy, and so are India. But China is the authoritarian. That's why it has the 4 heads and 4 wings represents democracy. And that's brown with yellow spots. That's China and India. So I'm cutting the chase here. I'm not going into a lot of detail. I'm just do some studies. You need to study, brothers and sisters. There's the eagle. See? Yes. Democracy, 2 wings. Right here. There's the eagle. He has 2 wings. But see, this eagle, okay, we'll talk about this in a minute. Let's see what happened here. Now that represents the 10 toes right there. That's 6 wings and 4 heads. That's the 10 toes. The eagle represents the 2 iron toes, and the leopard represents the 8 other toes, the other 8 toes. So here we go again, right? See, the China authoritarian, that's the 4 heads of the leopard, and India is democracy, that's the 4 wings. Then you got American Britain, right, in the middle, that's 2 toes. Now break down there, I'm saying the brass is false to Israel because they're trying to pretend they're the original nation, they're brass. Okay, that's why you got the legs broken in 2 parts there, because Europe, old Roman Empire broke in 2 parts, East and the West. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So here I'm going to showing the leopard and the eagle again, right? Oh, what's going on here? Okay. Okay, see there? That's the stone that cut out the statue with no hands. That statue had out the mountain without no hands. The mountain is the statue. And they said it would come and break this final configuration, this final vision. Because this world is in a certain vision right now that's fueled, right, by America, and the vision is based on false Israel being, the brass being pure gold. See? Now we can see later on as we go in, we'll see the actual brass is within there, but I'm not going into a lot of detail. I'm just giving you the basics. So I'm talking about the little horn. See, so I'm just giving you a walkthrough on this. You need to study. You go to the gym. You look at the weights, or you just keep looking at them, you might figure out and name them and everything else, but it's not going to make you not one bit stronger. You got to study. Okay, it's talking about a little horn. Okay, this little horn represents this bear. Who is this bear? Who is this bear? See, this bear represents Africa, the Levites. We're going to show it in a minute. See, that's what the bear represents. Because the bear is very powerful. Okay? Yes, Mr. Farrakhan, what the bear is. They say, well, that's Russia. That's what Master says. I think that means Russia. No idea. Nah, let's move on. This is, you can read this, about Belshazzar and Belteshazzar. There's a Belshazzar and a Belteshazzar. Not going into detail here. There's a Belshazzar and a Belteshazzar. They're the exact same names. Only difference is Belteshazzar has a T-E-N next to the E-L. You have E-L, Bel, and then a T-E. See? That's where you get that tekel from. Because it says Belteshazzar is Daniel. Daniel represents the Son of Man or the Ancient of Days. See, we may get into that later on in this presentation. But it says tekel, right? So tekel is the fulcrum. And EL is on one side, TE is on the other side, right, of the K. It says you've been weighed in the balance and found wanting. What it means is that you compare Belshazzar to Belteshazzar, and Belshazzar is missing, right? He's missing the TE. See? Very subtle. But Belshazzar represents, well, I'm going to cut to the chase, it represents Obama. Because you ain't seen the last of him, you see. Because he was the one that was in charge when Babylon was supposed to be destroyed. If you read the book of Jonah, it was supposed to be destroyed in 2015. 40 years after Elijah Muhammad departed. And Daniel and Jonah got punished because he didn't want to go and preach that. But God made him preach it, and then God didn't destroy it. He said, no, I'm going to give him more time. So there was a little debate there, a little harsh feelings there, right? Okay, let's go on. Okay, so now we see, because that's to say a little horn came up amongst the 10 horns. So it's amongst the 10 horns, a little horn came up. So now we see, right? We see the iron, right? The iron. We see the clay, right? We see this lion. That lion represents that little stone, right? Because that's what Nebuchadnezzar represents the lion here. That's not the same thing. Angel represents the lion as the Levites, right? But it also represents Suleiman as the because it said he's a lion from the tribe of Judah. So I never talk about that too much. In fact, I don't think I ever talked about that at all to people listening. So I think I'll get into explain that. But he's called the lion from the tribe of Judah. But the lion they talk about there, that represents the Levites. And so here we go. But in the angel, that represents the original nation. That lion represents the original nation, that's the Levites, right? And you got the eagle that's on his back. He's on that back. See? So remember, this is the final configuration. See? So we know a little stone, right, represents that lion. So we get, at the end, we see the leopard, that's the 8 toes, and the eagle, that's the other 2 toes. They're there, right? And then we also have a stone that's going to break that down, so that brings the lion to the picture. So how's the bear fit in the picture? Let's see if we can do anything with that. So here's the bear. Now this bear is very difficult to hash out, even in the angel, because it's talking about Obama, and Obama is very difficult. He's one of the most difficult characters to hash out, and I finally couldn't understand why, right? Because he was vulnerable, but now he's beyond that, and that's another story. So anyway, the bear is there. Remember, bear represents Belshazzar. It represents the African nation, right? It represents the silver. Okay, 10 toes. Now again, the 10 toes, right? You see there, it's India and China, and American Britain. See, that's going to be the final kingdom, because right now, the authority, according to Daniel, right? See, the authority was a dragon, and his horns on his heads, which is American Britain primarily. But then the beast, who is the same as the dragon, had 7 heads and 10 horns. His crowns was upon his horns. That means, and that's where India and China, that means there can be a shift in power. There'll be a shift in power, because while America's being tossed up, all tossed right and left here in the country, and tossed about out of the country in this war, right? Then they're not going to be focusing on world power. They're going to be losing ground, because they're going to be in war, even with themselves. So power is going to be a power shift. That's what it says, that the crowns went to the horns, 10 horns. So here we go again. We're going to explain this. See, we're going to explain this. Okay, let me just explain it now. It says there was these creatures that came, these beasts that came out of the sea. First one like a lion, and an eagle was on it. And the eagle had to be plucked up from it. So the eagle was plucked off his back. Then the lion was made to stand up and given a human heart, stand up on his feet. That's us, because we're in captivity now. And then we have to be given our minds back. That's like Mark, like in Book of Mark, demon-possessed man, and what Suleiman's been trying to tell you, right? That you have to get your, that's why for us, said you're not returning to get thorough knowledge, so you have to get your mind back, because your mind's been lost. See? So they was on his back, so they had to be plucked off. See, they be moved up. No, we're gonna be out of here. They were taking off our back. They don't control us anymore. Because as long as we're here, they be in control. See, they don't control us anymore. Once and then we may step in our minds and return. There was another beast creature, and it was like a bear. It was told to roll over on the side and eat much flesh. It had 3 ribs in its mouth, 3, very subtle. They had another one, right? That was the leopard with 4 horns. 4 heads and 4 wings. And there was a 4th one. It said the 4th one was different from the other ones. It had 10 horns, right? And it goes in a lot of explanation. Very subtle again. Because the 4th one is the composite of the first ones. Because the 4th one is that bear. Because see, a lion with the eagle, right? That was wings and head. And you had the leopard was wings and head. Both of them was cats. But the bear is totally out. He was one different from the other ones. That's what I said, very subtle. See? He's a little horn that came. He said he came up and cast down 3. He said he came up amongst the 10 horns, but he plucked up 3 by the roots. See, and they tell you, they think, well, that's the United Nations. That's the so-called EU, and that 3 of the horns be plucked up. No, it hasn't. That's what it means at all. See, because when you understand it, right? See, how should I say this? I'm gonna spend a little bit, and I'll talk more later. But it gets into this ram and goat thing, and the ram had 2 horns, and the goat had 1 horn. But the ram and the goat, see, represents the leopard and eagle. But they've represented in that context as 2 horns and 1 horn. So he gets rid of all of them. He blocks all 3 and he blocks all of them. So how is that going to happen? Because they're going to end up going, at the end, they're going to end up going to war with each other. After they knock out European countries, China, India, and Africa. Africa will be organized 2 federations, Islamic Africa and non-Islamic Africa. Obama's going to be running non-Islamic Africa. But he's going to be with them when they take out Europe. He's going to be with them, as it tells you in chapter 17. But once they got everything under control, except for us, because we're going to be a home free, back in the Middle East, protected by our God, right? And educated by the high priest, right? And at peace, which would be at peace, it says, that's when they're going to come because the world will be raised in war. That's why it says, hide from indignation. Hide, because we're going to be over there and protect it. So all the world's going to be in a war. If you're outside there, you're in trouble. It's time of unprecedented trouble. If you're outside of that safety zone, you're in trouble. That's what it said, hide from that indignation, let the indignation pass. Then once all that's over, and it's peace in the world, then that's when they're going to come and attack us. See? But before they do that, they're going to go to war with each other. And it says that the African Federation, because Africa will be broken up into 2 groups. That right now, it's broken all these countries. It's going to be, once this war takes place, Africa is going to segment into 2 federations, non-Islamic Africa and Islamic Africa. And Africa altogether has as much population as China or India. If you put it all together, but they segment in many countries. But if you put all those countries together, and that's what Obama's going to do. He's going to hit up non-Islamic Africa. And they're going to defeat China and India. And so all their combined armies is going to be under his control. Then they're going to attack us. So that's the goat. See? That goat is the leopard. See, I said very so. So they define the leopard, and they said, well, he got, and he represents men have 1 horn. See, but that's the leopard. As China, and so it comes after America. When you understand, it comes after. It says its feet does not touch land. That means it's coming over the Pacific Ocean. It's coming from the west. It says feet does not. It says it's coming westerly, so it's coming from the west. I mean, it's coming. Yeah, it's coming easterly from the west. See, so it's moving from the west to the east to attack the ram, and it's not feet's not touching land, so it's coming over the Pacific Ocean. And it says wrathful. Is it trying to get more wrathful every day? It says full of wrath. It said it couldn't contain itself. It's full of wrath, and it came out that ram so hard, right, with so much kinetic force, it knocked down and stumped in the ground and broke it. So who's the ram? A ram represents the other two toes. Remember I said the goat represents the leopard, so the ram represents America and Britain. That's the two horns. And said the latter one, the smaller one, the bigger one can't last. So so that means America's the big one, but it came last. So Britain was the first, but then America, it was shining brighter than Britain did. The two only world empires there have been, right, since time of Dr. Yakub and longer. You haven't seen, there's no other countries that were wild empires but America and Britain. That's what it is. That's the upcoming war between, that's the subject of this, between China and America. China's getting more and more incensed, hotter every day. This war will not take place until the war in the Middle East takes place, but it will take place right after that, almost immediately. Because one of the things China's going to recognize as America's a paper tiger, because they're going to lose that war. How can they lose that war to lose Iran? See, lose Syria. See, America history of losing. That's why I pulled out of Afghanistan. So China going to see that, the weakness, and they're coming after them. Okay. So there's the ram. America and Britain says it was moving right westerly from the east. See? The ram was moving the other direction. We'll clash with them right here in America while we're here. Clash with them. Take them down. So they just stump the ram to the ground. America's going to be taken down soon, this year, and then people are going to take them in captivity. Excuse me here. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to a little quicker here. Okay. That's what that is. The upcoming clash. It says the goat will be very angry with the ram. Very angry. And we see China's getting more and more confrontational every day. I've been talking about this for 30 years. For 30 years since I broke the seal, I've been talking about this. I got the books to prove it. Look, here's the book of Daniel. If you can see it, I call it Tekel. I was just telling you about Tekel. I don't know if you can see any of this. No, the lighting is not too good. Oh, the lighting's not too good here. Anyway, this book was written 30 years ago. The information's in there. See, before there was a confrontation. Okay, let's move on. So this is what happens. They collide here in America, and China's going to, they're preparing for war with China right now. They've been preparing for war with China for quite some time, actually. See? But China's going to hit them and take them down. See? They're going to take them down. See? That's what it is. That's what the story tells you. It takes them down. So now we know who the goat is, and we know who the ram is. See? They're going to battle right here on American soil. So they don't have any care or love or anything for the old, the invalid. They're going to destroy, kill everyone, cut it to pieces. And those that they capture are strong and healthy, they take them into captivity, which never come out of. The story tells you. Okay, we get back to this bear again. Here's the bear. So the bear represents Obama. Right, he's the silver, Africa. Obama, he's the one riding on the white horse in the first seal of the angel. He's not the one riding the white horse in chapter 19. That's Farad. But he's the one riding on that white horse without conquering the conquered. He had two conquests to make. First, the president of the United States. Next would be president or emperor of the non-Islamic African Federation. So there you go. So now the bear and leopard, they have control of the United States. They're roaming over the United States, taking all they can get, then they're going to burn it down. That's why it said in chapter 19, they eat of flesh. That's what we're talking about chapter 19, that beast that had 7 heads and 10 horns, and the crown's upon his horns. That's China, India again, right? But it says another beast has 7 heads and 10 horns also. He had many crowns all. He said it would be alongside. That's Africa. So they're all together. See? America will be in flames. You're going to light it up, eat of flesh, burn it down with fire. You take everything of value, it's people that are healthy and healthy, young and healthy, and they're going to burn the place up, burn it down. It says in chapter 17, tell you that it's Farad that's telling them to do it. He's the one that's guiding them. He's the two eyes on the goat. He's the one that's guiding. Tell you in chapter 17, they're doing it by his principle. He put in their hearts to do it because he's using them to bring down, destroy America. Now we're talking about the tree. Now, there was a tree there. Now, a tree said it covered the whole earth. That's the origination. It said it covered the whole earth. But it was cut down. Who cut it down? Ishmael. They betrayed us. That was talking about. They betrayed their brother, Isaac and Jacob. They betrayed us. You see? They cut the tree down. See? And gave it over to the Egyptians. That's what the story says. They cut Joseph down, right? And that's the tree, and gave him to the Egyptians. And this is what it says. And the tree was what? Cut down, and it was bound by iron and brass. So who is the one that bound us? Who's the one that bound us? Remember I said, false Israel represents the brass, and the Europeans represents the iron. They're the ones that, so false Israel, those people, they claim they had no hand, nothing to do with this thing. They tell you right there, it was bound by them. Both of them involved. Both of them be held accountable. Both of them had their part. It was bound by both of them. Read it. So we the tree, it was cut down. That's that stone, that little stone that's left, and it was bound by them. Both of them bound them. False Israel, right? And the Europeans. There's America here and false Israel. They're the ones that bound us. And the people of false Israel. Now the lion. Let's look at this lion again. That's the lion, remember? He had the eagle on his back. The eagle had to be plucked off. American Britain, because right now they're riding our back. They're under control of us. They have control of us. Plus, don't forget about the brass, false Israel, and these people. See, but right now they've been controlling us for 464 years. See. Then the mouth. So we come up to the end now. So there was this mouth, right? He's the son of perdition. But he's the one. He's the son of perdition. See. He's the one that will take down the saints for 42 years. So, and it tells you, not just in Daniel, but in the angel, in other books, the son of perdition, Thessalonians, tell you about this person. And it says he would take down saints. Now, if you in their eye, don't you consider, say you're going to be given the kingdom, for our kind say you ain't given nothing, but they say you're given the kingdom, so that means you must be the saint. That means this person is going to take you down. So if he hasn't taken you down yet, that means you got 42 years of hell coming. Because it said there's this person that 42 years he's going to take you down. He's going to deceive you. Overcome in 42 years. But put that through your skull. There'll be this individual. This mouth tells you in Daniel, tells you in Angel, tells you other place in the Bible, the son, in so-called New Testament, right? He said the son of perdition. He said he's going to take the saints down. He's going to make war with them and defeat them for 42 years. So if you the saints, and he's talking about NOI, then if you haven't been, that hasn't happened to you yet, that means you got 42 years of hell waiting for you. But we know it's happening right now because it's been 42 years since Elijah Muhammad passed and Farrakhan stepped up. Right, first he just turned against Elijah Muhammad, deceived him, and deceived the people, and he was a hypocrite and everything else. And then he come back and that's the whole story we're going to talk about another time. In 1977, in 42 years, right, up to 2019, he come out here and he's been deceiving the people. He got people thinking that he's the one, Jesus and everything else. He has no proof. He said he would do that. So if he's not the one, and Farrakhan is the one, but he said he's going to get you over the river. So what are you going to get you over the river to? If he's going to get you to safety, then who is this one that's going to take you down for 42 years? Was it Elijah Muhammad? Was he the one that took you down for 42 years? He's the son of perdition? Well, if it's not Elijah Muhammad, then who is it? It wasn't so-called Wallace. He didn't last that long. He was put down how he lived. He should have ended because he died of diabetes. So if it wasn't him, who was it? If it ain't Farrakhan, who is it? Because if it ain't Farrakhan, then he ain't going to get you across the river. If he ain't getting across the river, you don't want to go across that river because the son of perdition is waiting for you over there. And Aaron is the one that would deceive you for 42 years. It says it right there. After Elijah left, Aaron deceived the people. And he got all the people wiped out, destroyed. It's right in Exodus. So if you get destroyed, that's your problem. See? So now we know who Obama is, right? Now watch what this clown does. See, he worshipped Obama, but he claimed he's supposed to anoint it. He called Obama the Messiah and everything else. Hold on, let me start over again.
to bring about going to use to bring about universal change. And that is why Barack has captured the youth. And he has involved young people in a political process that they didn't care anything about. That's a sign. When the Messiah speaks, the youth will hear.
You hear that, brothers and sisters? He's worshiping Obama. And it tells you in chapter 17, the demons whose names, people who's not in the Lamb's Book of Life, they will worship him. He's the one that was the eighth but of the seven, right? You gotta understand, I broke that parable down, right? It's about Obama. And they worship him. He was one of the main worshipers. Man, we got him going and coming. So if you're deceived by him, that means you're a demon or you're an idiot. But you're gonna pay the price. And then Ancient of Days. See? So Ancient of Days was set while the beast's being destroyed. As America's being destroyed. Ancient of Days, what? He would come, he would cast down the thrones. That means that he's going to take over the NOI and he's going to cast down all those people that's in the NOI. Farrakhan, all those demons going to be cast out. That's about to happen, brothers and sisters, when this war takes place. See? But the war will not start with China. It's heating up, but it's going to start in the Middle East. And once America's defeated there, then they go to war immediately. Immediately. with Russia and China and India. Ancient of days, Suleiman. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. That's just a little critique of Daniel. Study it. Hope you understand. Okay, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.